Okay, hello everyone. Alrighty, excuse me. I'm back for another stream. I don't know how long this one's going to be as it is a little bit late over here. So I'm just going to be continuing on with this project. We created this in the last stream. The last stream, I believe, was just an hour or so. But now we're going to be continuing, and this is what we made last time. We had the what do you call them? Forget the names. Oh god. They were chopping down trees. I can't remember what I called them. And then we also had adventurers. Woodsmen? Did we call them woodsmen? What the hell did we call them? Woodcutters. Oh, jeez Louise. Alright, so this time, what I want to do, I want to expand this idea a little bit, but I also want to do something different. This time I want to try... Yes, it started, Raspberry. How you doing? This time I want to try create a little bit more depth to their AI. To do that, I think we need some different graphics, because I'm not 100% that these ones really have everything we need to get the job done. Killer Beast, don't worry, it will be on YouTube a little bit later once I finished. So I don't really have a plan for this, guys. It's going to be completely unorganized, completely uncoordinated. I'm literally just streaming today my process in designing and building this thing. So there are going to be moments I think that will be a little bit boring. There might be some moments that are really awesome. So there will be an archive of this later. So if you want to come back and read that, watch that. That's awesome. Otherwise, you're welcome to stay here today while we do this. So I'm just looking for some kind of game world tile set, really. Going to eat system. I don't get it. LPC is a good bet. Hello. How you doing? No, I don't like that tile set. Let's find the LPC set. I like the LPC tile set, but it comes in like a million different packs, and it's kind of aggravating to use sometimes. Alright, let's download this LPC base assets pack. We have the Kenny assets folder. I need to... I called that Kenny assets, didn't I? Oops. Projects, Kenny assets. Let's just call this assets. I want to put Kenny assets inside of the assets folder, and then I want to create a new folder. Actually, I don't need to do that. I just drag this in here. Wonderful. Wonderful. Alright. So we should have some sprites, some people sprites. Perfect. We're going to have to adjust a bit of the game as well. I'm basically kind of sort of starting again, but not really. Let's bring in some tiles first of all. We will bring in the water tiles. Hang on a minute. How does this work? We have water, but there's no grass tile. Best of luck. Best of luck to you. Let's bring in this. You know what? These aren't in tile sets. LPC is freaking pain in the ass to use. I swear there is a LPC tile set. No, maybe not. I probably should have found some graphics before I started streaming, because I didn't. And this is probably going to be kind of boring. Terrain. I need an indoor tile set. This is all outdoor. Top. Yes, I am. What have we got? LPC farms. LPC shooter. Oh man. Alright, maybe LPC is not the best way to go. If I use LPC though, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, see, I can't add these together into a single tile set, can I? If I create a tile set, it only takes one sprite. Yeah, so I can't. Let's have a Google. LPC assets tile set. Here we go. I think there's a tile atlas version, which would be better to use. There we go. That's what I want. Download that. That's better. Alright, so LPC. Let's bring these in here. There we go. Now we have a tile atlas. They're basically all the tiles in one file. Let's get rid of this. Let's drag in. What do we need? Base atlas. No, we need the terrain atlas. But even this doesn't have an inside tile set, which kind of doesn't help. I need something that has an indoor tile set. Does anyone know any free assets that have an indoor tile set? What if we just search for indoor? Does Kenny have a... Here we go. Roguelike indoor pack. Oh, there is an indoor pack. Oh, jeez. Why did I download that first? Alright, cool. Let's use that. I didn't realize there was an indoor pack. Let's get the Kenny indoor pack. There we go. Alright, sprite sheet. There we go. Roguelike indoor. Now what we'll do... I'm going to bring that in here. Yeah, let's do that. There we go. Wonderful. I don't know how the hell you use it, though. I should have... Bloody hell. Will your last stream make it into a video? Yes, GM Crow. It'll definitely be a video. I just haven't had a chance to go and edit all the metadata and stuff. I went off and had dinner, cleaned up a little bit, and then I was like, hey, I want to continue. But I kind of sample. There we go. Alright, so they do something like this. Yeah, it is available. It's just unlisted at the moment because I've got to put metadata in there, which I haven't done yet. So they do something like this. So how does that work in the actual tile set? Let's go and have a look at the tile set. Because there are supposed to be some edges to the walls and stuff. And I can't see... Oh, it's these bits here. Oops. Top left. I think it's those bits. Should look like that. But that's definitely not it. Ah, there it is. No, that's not it either. I can't see it. Where is the... Did I miss something? When I downloaded this asset pack? Did I bring in like just the wrong file? No? I swear the version I've got is missing those edges. Sorry guys, I know this is... Ah, oh, bloody hell. Seriously, if anyone can see them and I'm just not... and I'm blind, let me know. Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe there was two files, but... there wasn't. I can't zoom in on that. That is definitely missing those edges, isn't it? These wall parts that go around the back here. They are not in this pack. Let's go to the Kenny website. Let's go to the roguelike RPG pack on the actual Kenny website and see if we can find it. Maybe that's the one I've got. Assets. Search for rogue. Characters, caves and dungeons, modern city, and then the indoors pack. Nope. These aren't... Sorry, guys. I know this is really annoying. Believe me. I'm annoyed. Ah, you know why? I found them. They're in the normal... They're in the normal asset pack. All right, cool. So then, in that case, let's do what I wanted to do. So I wanted to go to the ground layer and first of all erase it. Because what I want to really do is use this tool and create a area. Just a demo area. Like this. Then what I want to do is extend the width of this room. Let's just make this 2000 for now. There we go. And I want to put some buildings over here. Now we could probably make an auto tile for this somehow, but we could also probably just do it ourselves. Let's just make a first building, something real simple. To begin with, a square. This is on the ground layer. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to put this on the collisions layer. Let's just make a square first of all. There we go. And we'll just put this one down here like this. This one down here like that. Put the top left corner on. Okay. Oh my god. I'm messing up big time. Okay, and then that goes like that. Bottom corners. Bottom corners. And then the inner and outer edges. I'm starting... Oh, the message was deleted. Are all the assets in that site free? Yes, they are. I'm starting with Game Maker. I want to make an RPG. Do I calculate the scale of my characters in relation to the scenario? Just pick a scale and work with that. Like, don't even like change it. Just like pick, do you know what I mean? Like don't change the scale. It's easier if you don't. None of what I said made sense. Alright, let's put this up here. And then let's put that like that. That'll do. Good enough for me. I'm more than happy enough with that. Okay. Almost done, guys. Almost done. Okay, and then this one, and then this one, and then we just put the ends on there. Like that. Ah, I messed up. That, like that, like that. We need that one, and then we need that. Okay, cool, done. Oh, that was a waste of time. What did you miss in the last stream? Everything. No, I'm just kidding. We made a little bit of stuff. We made some good stuff, some good progress. I can show you in a moment. That needs to be on the ground layer. There we go. So I'm going to put some flooring in here. The other thing I want to do, JRPGs generally don't have a black background. They usually have this gray. Actually, usually it's a little darker than that, so it's probably there. You're welcome, Killer Beast. I can show you. What we tried to do is create a living world. We tried to create somewhere that these guys were all doing something. They all had an objective. They all tried to go somewhere. They all tried to... once they got to where they were going, they were like, oh, okay, I'm going to go somewhere else now. And then they would pick a new destination. We also had these red guys who were woodcraft... I can't remember what they're called. Not woodcrafters. I keep forgetting the name. They chop trees down. So they find the closest tree and they chop all the trees down. And once all the trees are gone, then they become adventurers again and they go back to exploring. So that's what they do. So what I'm trying to do now is to just test out this idea of what happens when these guys enter a building. Like, can we move them and have them exist inside a building and then, you know, work around that as an idea. And I want to bring in the indoor tile set as well, which I've already done. The dirt is gone forever, yes. I don't know what that means. SPR, let's call this indoor. Tiles indoor. There we go. And now let's create a tile set. TS indoor. Let's give it the appropriate tile set indoor. And now these need to be set with the appropriate settings. They are 16, 16. They have a separation of 1. There you go, that's done. Cool. Now we can go back to our... How did I start learning Game Maker? Look, I started Game Maker a long time ago. Like, a long time ago. I remember playing with it when I was a kid, maybe aged... anywhere from age 10 to 13. I can't remember exactly where. It was like Game Maker 2 or 3 or 4. It was run by like one dude at the time. And that's when I started playing with it. And I had no idea what I was doing. And I still have minimal idea of what I'm doing. It just looks like I know more now. But I don't really. But yeah, just a lot of experimenting, like doing what I'm doing now. I just used to jump into Game Maker and I would make stuff. And a lot of times it was garbage, and it still is the case, you know? A lot of times what you make is just crap. Let's call this indoors. Yeah, you know, a lot of times the stuff you make is just crap. So, you know, I'm not going to do that on another layer. I'll do it on collision layer. Oh, but I can't do it on collision layer because it's already got its own tile set. Create a new layer. If I create a new layer, it won't receive... You know what we need to do? Sorry, I'm rambling. I'll create a new tile layer. Let's call this indoor. Yeah, a lot of times what you do just, you know, it's crap. Sometimes what you do is good. And then after, you know, 18 years of doing that, you get a feeling for what's good. Not that everything I make is good. Most of what I make is pretty crap, but you get what I mean, right? Just trial and error. Lots of trial and error. I just want to put something together so they have like a little place to exist. There we go. Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh man, honestly, I don't even know how to make Snake. Yeah, like seriously, I know what Snake is. If you asked me to make a game of Snake right now, I'd have no idea. You'd really have to sit down and think about it. You know, it's not something that you just think of in your head and then you just like, ah, I know how to make Snake right now. And just bam, there's a game of Snake. You know. Yeah. Alright, cool. So that's done. Now what we need to do is... I want to create a camera, just like we did with the... you know what? Can we just pull up another copy of Game Maker? Pull up the Avast game, or as I called it before I started streaming, Doubloons. And see if we can pull out the code. I called it Pirate Game Doubloons. I named it after we streamed. There was some really nice camera code in here. I just want to pull that out. If I can remember how we did it. Play a camera target. There it is. This was just a... There we go. Target X, target Y. How did we do it? I don't remember how we did it. We didn't do it like... we did it in here, didn't we? Okay, crap. I'm going to have to write it all again. Alright, screw it. I'll write it all again. Okay, let's create a camera. I want to create a draggable camera, basically. So that we can debug this level. So I'm going to just drag the camera onto the room for the moment. As an instance. Just put it like there. Is GM Studio 2 node-based now? No, it's not node-based. They just made it look like it was node-based. You don't ask me why. It's freaking stupid. I don't like it at all. I think it's really silly. Right, so the nodes that you're seeing are literally just like the connection of the windows. Like, it's so dumb. I just want control of my windows again. So we've got a camera. We need to create a global left pressed. Global left pressed? I can't remember. Yes, left pressed. So we just have a button in here that says is pressed equals false. And then in our left pressed, this needs to be global. Change the event to a mouse global left pressed event. Is pressed is true. And then a global left release. Let's go with a mouse global left released. And then we'll set it to false. Right, so if we are pressed, we are going to drag the camera. So we need a target x equals x, target y equals y, and then if we are pressed, our step event, if is pressed, then we need to say target x equals, I can't even remember how we do this, target x equals mouse x, target y equals mouse y, and then we will linear interpolate the position. Am I using double monitors? Yes, I use double monitors. So that I can see you guys on one side, have some resources on the other, and then also work on the main screen that you guys see. So I don't think anyone likes the new interface. Game Maker Studio 2 has a lot of really great features packed into a really average interface. They should have just kept the Studio 1 interface and put all these features into that, because that would have been so much more usable. So we're going to load from X to target X, and then 0.1. Don't get me wrong, I like the new interface. It has some stuff that's good, but the stuff that's bad is just really bad. The stuff that's good is great. The stuff that's bad is really bad. Statement Captain Obvious. Alright, now let's see if this works. I don't even know if I've done this right. Oh, okay, and of course the room's camera needs to follow the camera object. And so in theory, if I've done that right, which it looks like I haven't, we're following the camera 1280 by 720. There we go. Might have just been too close to the edges. There we go. Got it. Okay, cool. So we created a draggable camera of sorts. Let's slow it down because it's really kind of bleh. 0.01, 0.01. There we go. Now I can click and drag the camera around. 0.01, 0.05, 0.05. Okay. Killer Beast, not really making a game, just technology demo more than anything. Have I made a game before? Yes. Alright. So you can drag the camera. I'm not happy with that camera dragging script either. It's really shit. I can't remember how I did it before. Like you calculate that. Oh man. Is there any point with stuff like Ren'Py out there? Kim, no, just use Ren'Py if you're gonna make a visual novel. It's like right tool for the job kind of situation. It's kind of like asking. Not that there's anything wrong with your question. What I mean to answer is always use the right tool for the job. You know, there's no point digging a hole with a spoon if you have a shovel. So, camera, whatever. Leave the camera the same. It's fine. This thing here is not working. That should all be red. Anything on that layer should be red. And the fact that it's not red when it should be red. Hang on a minute. It is red. But the depth is odd. Why is the depth off? That's weird. Alright, anyway. If that is... that should be fine. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a destination over here and see if we can get one of these NPCs to try and travel to this destination. And that way... let's also increase their speed, because they're a bit slow for debugging purposes. Let's put them back to 4. That's their speed. And I'm also going to put the destination like inside the room, because they should have access inside the room. Right, let's take a look. So now they're all doing stuff. Will someone pick that as a destination, please? There we go. Someone's picked it as a destination. Cool. So the pathfinding is working, because they will walk into the door like that. Wonderful. Does GameMaker Studio 2 code work on GameMaker 1.4? Yes and no. Most of it does. The majority of it does work. Some of it does not. It's kind of just depends on what you're doing. Alright, so now all of this is done. I'm going to get rid of all these objects and stuff. We don't need them. All these destinations, all of this is being reprogrammed. Get rid of all of that. Delete. Alright, so back to collisions. Right, now what we're going to do is I'm just going to erase with a large brush. How do I change my brush size? There's a tool for this. Room editor, there we go. Just erase all of this map, because that's not what I'm trying to test at the moment. Have I tried it before? Yeah, like 98% of the code works fine. It's just a little bit. Every now and then you'll get like one feature that just doesn't quite translate. Yeah, I have tried it. It works pretty well, but there are circumstances that you need to address manually. Alright, so we need an outdoor building sprite of some kind that doesn't look silly. These all look like roofs to me, so I don't exactly know what I'm supposed to do with this. I just want to put a building like this, but not painted on there. I just want like one there. Oh shit. Okay, like that. Do that. And then on the indoor layer, ah shit, that's got the indoor tile set on it, doesn't it? Collisions has this tile set. Well, we're just going to have to pretend that this is a building, okay? Sorry guys, my graphics are not suitable for what we're doing. Now I'm going to put a door on there. Oh god, come on. Really? Alright, we need another tile layer. Rename. Just call it Fringe. Give it the main tile set. In that case then, my graphics are going to be normal. How are we going to do this? We're just going to put that... Shit, it doesn't work. Is there a... Put that there. Put that there. Put that there. And then can we just end it like that? I'm using these graphics all in the wrong way, but like I don't care. There's no end. Where is the end? There we go. That will suffice. It's sufficient. Not exactly what I was looking for, but it's possible. There we go. Wonderful. Okay. So that's done. Now what we can do is let's erase that tile, because that tile needs to be on the ground layer. so that it doesn't trigger the collision system. If we put that down there like that, now stuff can walk over it as well. And then on the fringe layer, we'll put a door sprite. I want a door. Where is the door? Okay. Here we are. Here's a door sprite. Wonderful. It works. It looks terrible, but it works. Okay, so let's just put a destination on the instances. And let's just put 2 destinations. One here, and then an NPC, and just see if he walks between those 2 points. I have an idea. Can Game Maker Studio recreate Super Mario Bros? Yes, it can. Alright, so cool. This guy is walking between the 2 instances absolutely perfectly. There seems to be some kind of drawing problem with the graphics of this building. In the rendered game, it looks weird. You know what? It doesn't matter. I don't really care what it looks like. I just want to test this concept to see if this works. So that's working. That's good. And our draggable camera should be working as well. We've gone right back to... Okay, cool, so that's working. Okay, draggable camera is working. Right, now what we're going to do is let's create a folder. Let's call this old. I'm just going to put everything in there that is old, except for object AI, because that's good. Right, old. Get rid of that stuff for now. So, now we will create a NPC. Let's create objects NPC 2. Give it the right sprite. There we go. That one has the sprite now. And the shade of the roof tile is different. That's why. No, the door itself looks odd. Looks really weird. So I'm going to put this NPC here. And what I need to do is I need to create a warp of some kind. I need to create a linked warp. So let's create a general warp object. Object warp. obj underscore warp. And let's also give it a sprite. Let's duplicate this sprite. Let's change it from destination to teleport. And let's also edit the image and change the color. Is there a color shifting kind of effect? Blur grayscale. There used to be. I swear there was. Replace color? Maybe not. Alright, let's just change it to not magenta. Let's change it to yellow. Will be better than magenta. Oh god, yellow and blue. What am I doing? Doing this the noob's way. Let's do this. Okay, wonderful. That will do. And now let's give that the right sprite. Now it has a sprite teleport. And also they are offset top left. That's fine. So then, over here in our map editor, we should be able to create a warp object on this door, on this instance. That will signify to us that there is a warp position. And then what we're going to do is, in this here, we need to say a variable definition. And I'm going to add one called destination X. And I'll leave it as an integer. And I'll add another one, destination Y. Also as an integer. Right? This way, we should be able to double click on that to bring up that panel, to open up the variables, which should let us first of all figure out where is this destination X and Y. So this is whatever pixel that is right there, 1191183. So let's edit those. 1191 by 184. 184. Okay, so now we have a warping destination. Let's create a... let's also... Yeah, so that'll do for that. Let's first of all see if we can get this guy to go into this building. That's the first thing. So right now he's using MP grid. So we also need to pretend that this place is sort of encapsulated by trees. Let's just do that. It's like Pokemon all over again. So we can't get out of this place. This is This is it. You're here forever. Once you're in, you never come out. Alright, make it not look so crap by adding a bit more trees to it. Still looks crap. Sorry. That will do absolutely fine. Okay, there we are. Will there be a door that opens when the NPC goes in? Well, that's just animation, so if you want to do that, that's just an animation that you'd play back on the door. The pixel art looks flat, so I think it makes it odd. Yeah, I don't like this tile set, but it will suffice for testing what we're trying to test, I think. So this guy is now using MP grids. So now if he's not actually, because he doesn't have any code. That's fine. That's fine. No code for this dude. We need to try and get him to enter this place here. So we also need to add a collision object, and I'm just going to put something really obvious, like just that, to signify that like you can't exit this place. 3 campfires. Obviously, you would use it. We'd use an invisible sprite, you know, some kind of something you just can't see to test this. So they're all red. That's good. Those are red. That's good. And those walls are red, but for God knows whatever reason, it appears underneath the wall. All right, that's done. So now we need to say, let's start working on some AI for this guy. Oh, one other thing I want to add is a time system. So let's create an object. Call this object clock. Object clock, and we will add a create event, and in here I'm going for the whole story of seasons, harvest moon kind of timing system. Hour equals 7, minute equals 0, and mode equals 0, mode string equals AM. Alright, so then we'll just create an alarm. We'll also say time speed equals, we'll set this to 10, and then alarm 0 equals time speed. Then let's add let's add an alarm. Yes, it will be fun. I hope. If it works. Let's add a time speed. So what we'll say is hour plus plus. So hour increases. No, sorry, not hour. Minutes plus plus. So we increase minutes by plus equals 10. We'll do the whole day-night cycle for the time and everything. We can tie it to this. So add 10 minutes every thing. If minutes is equal to 70, minutes equals 0, hours, hour plus plus. So we increase the hours. If hour is equal to 13, so we've gone to 1 o'clock, hour equals 1, mode plus plus, we increase mode. Now then we say mode equals mode mod 2, because we want this to go 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. So then let's just debug this out on the screen. So if the hour is 13, hour is plus equal to hour goes to 1. And then the mode flips. And when the mode flips, we say if mode equals 0, mode string. This could be done like a million times more efficiently, but this will do for now. Mode string is AM, else mode string equals PM. Right. So now let's debug minutes equals 0. Right. Now let's just add a draw event to this. Draw GUI. Draw text at 10, 10. This is going to be time string. Right. Now time string is going to be equal to hour. Sorry, string, hour, plus space, no, plus, yeah, plus, no, plus that, plus string, minutes, plus space, plus mode string, AM or PM. So we draw that onto the screen. Let's have a look what that looks like. Looks like nothing because I didn't put the clock on the map. Let's go and put that clock on the map. Alright. Okay, 7:20 a.m. So the time is increasing. I want a different font. Let's add a font. I know I'm just kind of getting carried away with stupid shit, but font game. I'll just call this font game UI. And we'll just use a, oops, we'll use a, what fonts do we have? What about Seguo? Where's Seguo? Microsoft's font. There it is. Sego, that's the one. And increase the font size. It's always a nice font. I like this font. Font size 20, and then in our clock object, we will draw set font before we do any of this. Draw set font FNT game UI. There we go. Fonts matter, exactly. Fonts are important. There we go. Now we can actually see the time. Now, obviously, there's a bug. It goes from 0 minutes to 60 minutes. That's because of my shoddy math over in this alarm. If minutes equals 70, because there's 70 minutes in an hour, right? The other thing I notice is that the hour, the minutes are not 0, 0. Now, there is a function to pad strings, but I think we'll just say something like if minutes is greater than 0, then do it that way, else do it this way. And we'll just omit the minutes, because who needs to know that it's minutes when it's just like 9 a.m., right? That'll be perfectly fine. Is it like watching Little People? I don't know what you mean. There we go, 720, 40, 50. Is that right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should it go to 60? I don't know if it should go to 60. I set it to 70 and it went to 60. 50. No, it should just flip around. That's fine. I'm happy with that. Now, let's increase the speed from 10 to 1 and let's make sure it goes from AM to PM. And then from PM to AM. So it's gone to PM. Sorry for the weird sounds, I'm just drinking. Okay. We have a good loop of time now. It goes all the way up. Alright, now what we need to do, in our clock event, when this alarm fires, I'm going to put this back to, let's just set it to 5 for now. It's probably a good debug speed. When the time changes, we need to create what I'm calling a time string. Time string equals, and for now, it'll just be blank, but when the timer ticks, let's create a time string. Time string equals string hour plus string minutes plus mode string. Now what this should give us is something that looks like, for instance, 9 a.m. It's a living world AI. It's basically like watching tiny people. Yeah, something like that, man. Just a tech demo. I want to create a living world so that we can build a game in it, if that makes sense. So time string should look something like, for instance, 9 a.m. Actually, let's call it 9:20 a.m. Should look something like 9:20 a.m. Like that. 50 p.m. should look like 1:50 p.m. Like that. And that's going to give us a key that we can use to look information up in a dictionary when we have events that should happen at certain times. So we've stored this time string. This is to turn time into a key, sort of encoding of information, if you will. So let's go to our NPC. Oh, one other thing we need to do is we need to tell all of the NPCs that the time has changed, and I think we'll do that by saying with So we'll notify. So that's let's just add a comment here saying build a time. It's called a time key. Sounds cooler. Yeah, I get distracted when I code. I know. Time key. Let's also put that in the create event, and then let's also notify. No worries, Killer Beast. Thank you for joining us. Let's also notify the NPCs. Notify the NPCs of the time change. Right? Notify the NPCs of the time change. Now, that's going to involve, so with obj_npc2, so this kind of creates like a for loop. It's not a for loop, but it repeats this code every time for each individual one. I want to say event user 0. I want to fire the event inside of the NPC to say like, hey, time has changed. This is the time changed event. We're calling it event user 0. Time changed. What do I do? Alright, so when the time changes, what do I do? Well, in this case, you show debug message, the string. Actually, we don't need to do that. You show the debug message of the obj clock.timeKey. You're going to tell me in the debug window what the time is when the time changes. In theory, we should have this key happening down the bottom here. And if we have a look at this key, you'll see that we have 1:10 a.m., which is 10:0, 9:10, 8:30, 8:0. So 8:0 a.m. and 9:0 a.m. and 10:0. Yes. Okay. So that's fine. I'm okay with that. That's okay. Let's take a copy paste of these and put them into this create event in a comment as a list of like example time strings. And let's also go for PMs as well, some 10 PMs, so that we have an idea of what they look like. Example time keys, right? So these are time keys. These are the things that are going to define when something happens. So initiate this NPC. Now what we need to do, I think, is we're going to create like a DS map where we use the time key as the statement of what's going to happen. So let's create a DS map. Let's say, I'm not taking care of memory in this game or anything like that. Just not cleaning up after the variables, just making stuff. So let's just say my events equals DS map create. DS map create. Then in that, we're going to create some events. So we can say DS map add. The ID that we're going to add is my events. And then the key is the time string. So at 8:10 a.m., we're going to say, hey, it's 8:10 a.m. ... You know, something like that. I'll have to put AM as well. 8:10 a.m. Let's add some other time strings. Let's say at 9 a.m. Hey, we'll just make it tell you the time, basically, using this kind of overly complicated system. And then at 10:50 a.m., we'll make it say, I'm hungry. Right? So it does different things at these different times. Guys, give me 2 seconds. I will just check in on something, and I'll be back in literally 2 seconds. Okay, back. Sorry about that, guys. So at these times, this is something that's going to happen. So when the time changes, we can now look up this events list, right? We can look up the events list for the time key. So we can say ds map lookup. Is there a lookup function? Ds map find. Here it is. Find value. We're going to find the value in my events that occurs at the obj clock time key, right? Now we'll say var my. I say it was never 2 seconds. Yeah, it's Australian, man. It's Australian language. It's how we speak. Lewis, hello. Greetings from Venezuela. That is an awfully far place away from Australia. Australia, mate. My name's Ryan. I'm from Australia. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Sorry, guys. So this is going to be found event equals this. Now, what does this return? This returns a real, a string, or undefined. Undefined is important. If it's undefined, we don't want to do anything. So we can do a if found, if is undefined, found event, right? That way we know right away this event is undefined. So if it's not undefined, then we want to do this event. I live in a country literally above yours on the map, of course. Top 1 level max jelly 2 master pro double XL. You must be from, I don't know where you're from. Bali, China, Hong Kong, Taiwan. Anyway, if not undefined. So if it's not undefined, it means we found an event. What event did we find? Show debug message found event, right? And you can get rid of this clock announcement thing. So now what should happen? In theory, it's always good in theory, but there we go. It seems to have worked. So if you look at the console here, we've got, hey, it's 8:10. Hey, it's 9. I'm hungry. So he is playing out his actions, or her actions. It's generic looking pixel art dude, but or dudette. But it's playing out the actions as we kind of asked it to. These are the things that we want to happen at these timestamps. So, all right. Now we're getting into the complicated stuff. By complicated stuff, I mean I have no idea how to do it. So I'm just making it up as I go along. Before we get any further, though, I do want this guy to sort of have a draw event. Draw. There we go. And I also want to duplicate this font. Duplicate. And I want to call this font game. And I also want to drop the font size like way down to like that big. Maybe font size 8. That will do fine. Now in this draw event, we can say draw self. We can also say draw text at your position. And the string is going to be the last event. So we are going to draw the last event. So that means that the X position has to be minus the string width, last event divided by 2. There we go. So it'll be half, and then we'll also just add 8 pixels so that the sorry, not that. That needs to be on Y. We'll also add 8 pixels to the Y so that the text appears under the player. So it should draw its last event, and then when this found an event, we'll just say last event equals found event. There we go. Right, that font is too big. Let's adjust that. Also, let's set the default to waiting. Right, so it's doing nothing. And then in here, where we draw, we're going to change the text to draw set font FNT game. There we go. Now, we should get a waiting ... Hey, it's 8:10 a.m. Hey, it's 9 a.m. And then I'm hungry. Miracle Ellis, hello from the Netherlands. Hello to the Netherlands. Man. Anyway, so we have a. Oh god. All right, so now we're drawing the events that are happening under the character. That's good. That font was a little bit crusty. I'm gonna just drop the font size down a little bit, maybe 7. Let's have a look how that looks. Alright, that's good enough. The other thing is that our people sprites, they are centered. Hello from the Philippines! Hello to the Philippines. I'm not going to continue this all night. When someone says hello from the, I reply with hello to the. Oh my god. Alright. So, our guy is respecting hello to Poland. Oh, God. Alright. So our dude is now respecting time. He's time respectful. Let's set this to 11:20. I'm hungry. Maybe I should cook. Let's get rid of the dot dot dots because they look stupid in this font. We need a mono-spaced font and I haven't got one. Alright. Hello to Croatia. Hello, Noof. Noof. Alright, maybe I should cook. That's better. So time is working normal. Let's adjust the clock because it's too fast now. We can set the clock to a reasonable 10 or even a 15. I'm just trying to feel this out as I go along, so bear with me. There we go. 8:10. Yep. 9 a.m. Okay, cool. I'm hungry. Then at 12 something, maybe I should cook. Cool. That is working brilliantly. Brilliantly. I can't believe how brilliantly it's working. Yeah, I'm a nutcase when I code, I know. Alright, so respecting time. Now the real question. How the hell do we turn this into intelligence of some kind? If anyone has seen Westworld, I was watching Westworld with my wife. This is kind of like that. We've created like a structure that things will do things at certain times. But now what we need to do is to create a system that means it will enter into a loop when it's got some event that it needs to do. It will focus on doing that until it changes its event. Noof, I don't know what you mean by is there a way to remember the codes? Sorry. This is getting complicated. Alright. The first thing I want is just... what should we do? What should we do first? All these lines of code working on GMS 1.8. They should be Miracle Ellis. I haven't used anything I think that is specific to 2.0, so should be good. So let's add a... I'm trying to think how to do this. How would we do this? Let's create a... We need a way of, first of all, passing a script, maybe. We use a script, and then we pass into that script variables. Now, what are those variables? They could be parameters. In that case, we'd need to add a list to our DS map. If we add a list to the DS map, is it a list? Let's have a look. DS map, what functions do we have? Add list. We can add a list or we can add a map. If we added a list, we could add a time. We don't need a time key stamp, but we could add a script and the parameters that go to that script as the values of the list. So we could call this event descriptor. That's too long. Event I don't know. Disk equals ts list create. So we're going to create a list. This is going to represent an event that happens at 8 a.m. So the first event that I want to create, ds list add event description. The first thing I want to add is a speech event. So we need to, let's jump over here to scripts. Let's create a group. Let's call this AI directives. Right, so this is an AI directive, and then the first script I want to create is AID speak. Right, and then that's just going to be show debug message argument 0. This is just to test this, by the way. Right, we just need to test it. So we've got an event description, and we want to add the first value. Hey, can we add multiple values at one time? Oh, optional values to be added to the list. Wonderful. All right, so we can do this all in one line. Cool. So let's add a... You know what? Let's not do this. Let's add a script. It's called create event. Create event. No, let's not do that. That's overly complex. It's cleaner, but it's overly complex. It's not what I want to do. Let's add the event. The event that I want to do is AID speak. The first parameter is going to be, hey, it's 8:10. Right, so let's add that event descriptor. And then we're going to add that. So we're going to get rid of all these. This is just debug code now. We have a DS list for the events separated by a global object and timer that checks all the events for all the actors. Stroma M, yes, you could do that. But I'd prefer to have each NPC responsible for its own actions rather than having a director controlling every NPC in the game. It makes more sense to go in reverse, because then you can deactivate and activate specific NPCs and not have to worry about what's being processed when and where. It's just a simple matter of, you know, deactivating or activating. So we're creating this event. Then I want to say ds map add list. The ID is my events. It's going to happen at 8:10 a.m. and it's going to be event description, like that. Now, over here, if we found an event, now we need to pluck out the parameters. So let's say, now that we found the event, this is going to be a DS list that it finds. So we need to say DS list underscore read. And we need to read found event. And this is going to be, I don't know what str means. What's str? The string to read from. What the hell does that mean? The idea of the data structure to read into. This seems wrong. DS list find sounds right. Here we go. Find value. That's the one we want. DS list find value. Find value. Yes. So we're going to read from that at position 0. This is going to be SCR to EXE. The script to execute. Then we're going to say argument. Actually, we'll call this arg0 equals ds list. Actually, you know, ds list find value found event 0. So now we should have 2 events. Now we should be able to use script execute to runtime execute SCR to EXE and then pass into it arg0 as a parameter. In theory, that should call the AID speak, which should display the message. It's a roundabout way of doing it, but should mean that each of our NPCs have their own. It displayed 0. It did something, which is good. Why did it display 0? Means that arg0 was probably wrong. There we go, because I put it at position 1. There we go. Hey, it's 8:10. Cool. So that works. That pulled it out. Now, the next thing we can do is abstract this, right? We know that the script is going to execute. Over here, we can say that instead of passing in arguments, we can find the arguments in itself, because we know that it'll always have access to found event because of this. Let's just say arg1, 2, 3. And this is going to be an event template of sorts in which we comment out these because we don't need them just yet. So in theory, that should still work. Okay, 8:10, do we get a message? No, we don't. arg0, not arg0. So that didn't work. Very interesting that that didn't work, because I assume that scripts were executed under the context of the object. It might not be the case with script execute, the function. That might not be the case. Very interesting. Oh, because I'm passing in. That's not the issue. That's the issue. That should still work. Let's have a look. So at 8:10 a.m., Hey, it's 8:10. Cool, so that works. So now we've the ability to programmatically set a script and its parameters in the create event. Now, the next thing to check is we have a list here of events, and we add that. You know, we really do need to scriptize this, don't we? Because otherwise we'd have to say like this, and then ds list clear event descriptor, like that, and then we can copy all of this and then paste it again. So if this was a script, it could be one line, obviously. Let's set this to 8:30. Hey, it's 8:30. This happens at 8:30 a.m. Event descriptor. So what do we have here? We have incorrect type, expecting a number. Script to execute. So that's weird that that didn't work. It might be because I cleared this list, and this list may be connected through a reference. So let's scriptize this. Let's create a script. Let's call this add event. So then what we need to do is create a list event description like so. So we create that there. Then we will add it to you know what, screw this. I don't want to do that. That's annoying me. Sorry. Jumping all over the place, I know. Let's find out why the second one didn't work. Why did you not work? Second statement. You should have worked. I'm certain it's because this is attached. Welcome back, Killer Beast. Incorrect type. Expecting a number at event user 0 script execute scr to exe. And what did you get? You got nothing. Why did you get nothing? Let's put a breakpoint and let's say F6. If it is nothing, this song is called Foria. It's on no copyright sounds. Right, script to execute. Found event is 0. That should be fine. If we... I don't think there's a way to see into this, is there? No, there isn't. Put a breakpoint here. And then if we step over that, there we go. Script to execute is undefined. That is because the DS... What other windows do we have? Here we go. We've got the locals. That's what I want. The DS... Where is it? Found event 0. Event to script to execute 0. Because when we cleared that list, it was by reference. Which basically means that we can't clear off those... In Game Maker Studio to make an FPS game? No. I mean, yes, but you wouldn't. Just Unity is the way to go for that. So the reason that that happened is because I've come full circle. I need to create this into a script, don't I? We need to create a list. We need to create a list and then add it into this. So I've come full circle. Add event. Okay, event description. Argument 0. Let's just say argument 0 equals script. Argument 1 equals param. And then, excuse me. So let's say argument 0 and then argument 1. And then we need another one of these. This might actually be time. 0, 1, and 2. So 1 is going to be the script, 2 is going to be the parameters, and argument 0 is going to be the timestamp. Is Game Maker a good engine to do something like this? Yes, Game Maker is the perfect engine to do something like this. Specifically, what I'm doing at the moment in Game Maker is very suited for Game Maker. if that makes sense. So time, script, and parameters. Add event. So in our create event over here, we should be able to comment these out and then use a function called add event, which takes a time, 8:10 a.m., a script, artificial intelligence directive speak, and then the message, hey, it's 8:10. Now let's add another one and see if we can have a second event that works. There we go, that will do. I'll set this one here for 8:30. Still didn't work. Incorrect type, expecting a number. Why do you not work with a second instance? Why do you not work with a second instance? Why do you not work with a second instance? Coding. Alright then. I frequently make AI in Game Maker just to watch it. Usually make animals. Let's do something a little odd. Let's do this. Let's just call this index equals. This is hacks to the max here. Hacks to the max. That sounds like a band name. Let's try that. Ah, I know what the problem was. Never mind. Undo all of my hacks. It was just this dodgy line of code here. Python is really good for AI. Really good. TensorFlow and a lot of Google's libraries are written specifically for Python use. They work in other languages, but Python is kind of their main entry point to a lot of those AI libraries. And I will say TensorFlow is freaking amazing. I had a play with it one time where I recorded the conversation logs from myself and my boss at work. And I did I can't remember what it's called, a call response something neural network using TensorFlow and Python. And I made a chatbot that when you spoke to it like me would respond back with a message like my boss would say. It was weird and funny and strange. But anyway. Where can I download this program? How much is it? yoyogames.com, and I have no idea how much it is anymore. Alright, so that's working now. So now we have the ability to create an event and pass it a parameter. AID speak is the first event, and AID speak should modulate last. So last event should also say. So we should also be able to say in here something like this. AID speak. So this should always define what your last event was. Then find your params and then perform your event. Perform your action, right? So to speak. Now, if that worked, it should say waiting, and then when this event fires, it should say AID speak underneath the player. AID speak. Cool. So the event did fire, which is good. So now let's create an event that uses our motion planner, which there's nothing on the map right now, but let's add a. I got rid of them. Let's add a destination object here and a destination object there. And we'll create an AI directive whose job is specifically... Sorry if I'm talking slow, I'm thinking to myself. Will this game be free? This isn't a game, Killer Beast. I'm just making a tech demo. We're going to create a AI directive that gets the player, sorry, the NPC to bounce, not bounce, but to navigate between those two things. using our motion planner. Now, I've already got some code in this event, in this guy over here to do that. Yeah, but don't download it on Steam because apparently there's a bunch of issues with the Steam version. There always is. So we need to use the motion planner like this to find the target. So let's go over here into this guy. Do you mean to watch the videos? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, the videos will be on YouTube and Patreon. They come out on Patreon first, then they come out on YouTube. So if you want to watch them early, they'll be on Patreon tomorrow. And then, like, later in the week, they'll be on YouTube. So now let's create a AID... an artificial intelligence directive. This is going to be... what is this going to be? Not navigate. This is going to be... Yeah, let's call it random navigate. Right. So this is random navigate waypoint. Let's put this code in here for now. Right. And then let's comment this out. Right, for now. Just so this is kind of... Killer Beast, what do you mean by this? Will this be free? To watch the videos on YouTube is free. Yeah. But... What I was saying was that I will upload them to YouTube, like next week, like later in the week. I'll put them on Patreon tomorrow for anyone who wants to watch soon, but later in the week they'll come out on YouTube for everyone to watch, completely free. Alright, so AID speak. We need to copy this into the random native event. Sorry, navigate. This needs to be called navigate. Navigate. This is AID random navigate. And the first parameter is going to be the object that we are looking for. So that's cool. So that's done. So we don't need to show a debug message for this one. What we do need to do is set a target to be arg0, which is the first argument in here. Object. There we go. Then we use the motion grid on our AI controller that we had before, and we set that to be my target. So now my NPC needs a create event, which also defines my target as, first of all, my target as no one or noon, whatever they are. Everything costs time. Time is the universal currency. So my target is first of all set to no one. Then what we need to do is we need to create an event that now says at 8:30, instead of AID speak, it's going to be AID random navigate. And then the first parameter for this is going to be obj underscore destination. So at 8:30 a.m., the random navigate script should fire, telling us that the last event was random navigate. It should pluck out the object we're looking for. It should find one of them on the map, and then it will generate us a waypoint to get there. And then we need a path. Then it says path start, my path. So we also need to create a path in the create event called my path. My underscore path equals path underscore add. There we go. So at 8:30 a.m., it should navigate to a waypoint. And it did! Wonderful! Alright. So now we can say something like at 8:50 a.m. say like, hey, I made it here. Hey, I made it. Like, hey, not hey, I made it. Let's just say like, yay, arrived. You know, something like that. So it starts off, it first of all says like, I should do something. Then it does it. and then it's like, yay, I arrived. So we have a way of like planning a sequence of events almost. That's really cool. That's really cool. I like that. And this happens at every 8:30. So in theory, this should happen the next day as well. So we can create a loop like this. We can say, if that was object destination, what if we created... no, hang on a minute. That wouldn't work. That was random navigate to object destination. Now, what if there was only... This project will be shared for Patreon. Yeah. So the files will be downloadable on Patreon. Of course. So we navigate to the random destination. We say something like we've arrived. Then what happens is nothing. But in theory, the clock should be ticking. Now, if I speed the clock up, this should all happen really quickly. And then the following day, it should happen again. Because remember, this is a total day-night cycle. So when the clock reaches the same time next time, it should do it all again. And it did. Let's see for it to make its way over here. See? So now it's done it again. So every day, this guy will find a random waypoint and head there. And I've sped the time up. You can see in the top left-hand corner quite a lot. That's really cool. Excuse me. That's really cool. I like that. Alright, let's set the time back to 10. You know, so it doesn't have to be like so crazy again. 5. Yeah, whatever. So now we have a way of navigating to random waypoints. When you finish the game, the AI will rule humanity. I doubt it, but maybe. Maybe, just maybe. Now what I want to do is the entire point of this video was to get this guy here to enter into this house. The entire video has been leading up to this point, right? That's where I want him to go, right there. With that instance selected, we should be able to double click on this, edit the variables. Oops, that one. Double click on this, edit the variables. Sorry, wrong button. Edit the variables. And those variables should be 1184176. 1184 plus 8. And then 176 plus 8. Now, I don't know if you can do that in Game Maker, but we're about to find out if I run the game. Hey, that works. Wonderful. Alright, that works. Okay, so let's actually just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, crap. That should be integer. We need to go to the warp object, change the variable definition from real to integer, then come back to our map. And then I forgot what this was supposed to be. That was supposed to be 176. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. 184. Alright. So the warp destination targets are set. Now we need to make the warp destination target actually do something. So when a NPC touches the warp destination target, we want to transport them to the destination target. So when we have a collision event with an NPC, let's say obj_NPC 2. Oh, actually, no, not that. We'll say other.x equals... Oh, my dog. What are you doing down there? Get out of here. Destination x other.y equals destination y. Wonderful. Okay, sorry guys, I'm not paying attention in the chat. I was getting into this code. What's going on? Killer Beast wants the source code and he's young. Killer Beast, are you on Twitter? I will send you the code on Twitter if you're on Twitter when I'm done. Send me a tweet at rm2kdev saying, hey, I'm Killer Beast, and I will zip the code and send it to you as a DM later. Easy peasy, mate. Easy peasy. No problems. Alright, so now let's get the camera to follow the player. Sorry, not the player, the fake NPC. And we'll run the game. And it should move. Okay, it did. Alright, now what we want to do, instead of making it go to destination, let's make it find object warp in the script. So it should walk up to the warp point for this building. obj_warp. There we go. Now. Alright, so random navigate didn't work that time when we targeted warp. So we targeted warp, and for some reason the random navigate function didn't work when we targeted warp. And I have a feeling that that is because the target's X and Y position land on something that is on the collision layer, but there shouldn't be anything on the collision layer. That's all ground effect. Fringe isn't part of collision, so that shouldn't count. What makes destination different to... I know what it is. I know what it is. It's the fact that it's targeting a random destination. We need to duplicate this script and just change it from random navigate to just navigate. Right? We don't want random navigate. We also want a static navigate. Just a AID navigate. And instead of going to here, we're just going to go directly to arg0.x and arg0.y. So now in the NPC object, instead of using random navigate, we'll just use navigate. And we'll navigate to the first object warp. You're good, Killer Beast. There's no problem. Alright, and it did warp. And it warped somewhere that we just don't know. Guys, 1 second. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. It's getting late here, so I was just saying goodnight to my wife. So we navigated to the warp object. The warp object did warp our player, but it warped our player to the middle of nowhere. Why did you warp to the middle of nowhere? The variables are set. Destination X, destination Y. Oh man, dog, stop rubbing your tail on my leg. It's freaking me out. My dog keeps walking past my leg. And it just takes us straight to the top of the room. We don't want that. We don't want to be at the top of the room. Why are destination X and Y? What are destination X and Y? Console.log. Ah, you know what it is. It's got something to do with pathing. Path. So we'll just say with other. Let's stop any path that they're on. Path stop. How do you stop a path? Path end. There we go. Do you know which program Webfoot Technologies work? I don't know what Webfoot Technologies is. Sorry. So we stopped the path of the other thing. I think the path and the X position... No, that wasn't it either. Okay, that's weird. What if we just set this to 1,000 and 1,000? What's going to happen then? It might just be that our... Greetings from Germany! Greetings to Germany. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. That's something that we were doing in the chat earlier. Why did dest X and dest Y not work? They should have worked. Those are Those should be working. Show debug message string dest underscore x. Dest x is correct. What about dest y? So I'm just trying to debug this section and find out what's going on. It's almost like it collides multiple times because I've got 2 collisions here. Why is this firing multiple times? We stop the path. We move the player's position. I'm just gonna cheat. I'm gonna put a cooldown. I know this is hacks, but I just want to get this bit working. All right. Cooldown equals false, and we'll just say if not cooldown, then do that, and we'll set the cooldown equals true, and then we'll alarm 0 equals, I don't know, 15, and then in the alarm we'll just turn cooldown off. Cooldown equals false. I know that's hacks. I know. I just can't be bothered solving that bug. I just want to get that to work so that we can move on to this AI stuff. But it still didn't seem to solve the problem. What if we set cooldown to like 30? No, let's set it to 100. Cooldown equals true. Only do this if cooldown equals false. Not cooldown should have done the same thing. They made a Game Boy game called Dragon Ball Z Boost Fury. I don't remember that game, but I do remember playing like a JRPG style Dragon Ball on Game Boy Advance, I think it was. This event is definitely firing twice. I know it is. I can smell it. It smells like an event that's fired twice. Let's put a breakpoint on here and debug it. Right, there's the first firing. Destination X and Y are both good. Second firing, destination X and Y are both 0. Why are they 0? That's the first question. Legacy of Goku, that's the one. That's it, right. Why is it firing twice? Do I have 2 of the same object on the map? No, I don't. It's a collision event with the player. The variables. There's only 1 of them on the map. Oh, hold on a minute. Dodgy. Game Maker's snuck in a second one. Is that... Oh, no, instance creation order. Well, hold on a minute. There was 2 on the map. There was 2 on the map, literally at the same positioning. I have no idea how that happened. Oh, it worked! How cool is that? How cool is that? That is so cool. I'm really happy with that, guys. That is satisfyingly good. Now, oh man, that's so cool. Sorry, I'm just really excited about that. So we navigate to the warp. The next thing I want to do is in here. I want to create a destination, not a warp. I want a new destination specifically for being a shopkeeper or something. So let's just let's duplicate this. How can you create a game like this with 2 hours of... How long have I been streaming? I've been streaming for 1.5 hours. So this has been 2.5 hours. Hey, and RMPuka Dev 2, can you picture the room editor and everything? Thank you in advance. I don't know what you mean, Killer Beast. Sorry. So I want to call this one... Let's just call this OBJ, I don't know, House 1 Obviously, in a real game, you would have groups. I don't know, shopkeeper. Yeah, don't forget the 400 years of experience. Oh, God. Can I screenshot where the object... The objects will just be in the room editor. So there we go. We've created this one here, which is called the Object House 1 Shopkeeper. So now, I want this one to say... after you have warped here, at 8... Let's just say at 9 something... Let's say at 9:10, we're just going to say go to be a obj_house 1 shopkeeper. Right? And then, so this guy is going to be the shopkeeper, basically. And in the room, I want to make sure that see, that building there is not on the collision layer. I want that building on the collision layer. I think I'll put it on fringe. No, indoor, actually. So let's go here and let's select those tiles. Let's cut them and go to the collision layer and paste. Obviously doesn't work. Collision layer is a different tile set. That's alright. What we'll do is we'll just pretend by putting some crap on the tables. Easy. We'll just put something small under the tables to make it like, you know, you get the idea. I just want to put something there to make it pretend like there are collisions at that spot. So what should happen is the guy, character, thing, person, should go and become the shopkeeper of this shop at 9:10. So here it goes in there, goes and becomes the shopkeeper. Does his day of work, and then we'll make him leave. Obviously, leaving is just the same thing in reverse. So this is a warp. If you want to talk... that's all good, guys. But yeah, Killer Beast, if you need anything, just send me a tweet. I'm on Twitter, like, all the time. So we have a warp object over here. You know what I think these warps need? I think they need a name. No, they don't need a name. No, they do. No, they don't. Flip-flopping. They don't need a name because... Well, they kind of do need a name, but they don't need a name, if you know what I mean. What we really need is a warp base. Maybe this is warp base. Just rename it base, like that. And then we create all different kinds of warps throughout the... Can we name it George? We'll give him a name. Yeah, we will. I'll tell you what. Let's do that right now. Well, hang on. Let me change this to object warp to shop, and I'm going to create an object that parents to warp to shop. There we go. And I want to parent that to warp base. So this is going to be parented to warp base. Object warp base, there we go. And the sprite, I want it to be the same. Now, if I go back to my level and we get rid of that warp base object and replace it with a warp to shop object, double click on it, edit its variables, edit these, select whatever the hell is there, which is 1184. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 192. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. So that's set up now. And then we delete this one because that's going to be warped from shop. Name it James. Yes, George. Now I'm gonna name it George. We'll name it George. He kind of looks like George. Don't you think he's got the vibe of a George? Look at him. Look at those eyes. Look at that. He's like, my name is George. I'm George. Oh shit, I lost my map. Sorry. It's getting late. You can tell. Oh, come on, Game Maker. What the hell? Zoomed out of my map and it's gone forever. Okay, so we have the warp 2. We have the warp 2 shop, and now we need a warp from shop. Actually, no, we're changing his name to George. Well, actually, first of all, let's make sure that the warp still works. It's the most important thing. Okay, warps to shop, does its job, fine, becomes a shopkeeper. Let's give him a name. In the draw event, we simply just do this again. This time we subtract 8. Name's George. There we go. Now he's got a name. You got George. Oh my god. Let's subtract 16 from it though. George the shopkeeper, yeah. That's his title. If it's like Skyrim, it's like the shopkeeper. Alright, so last thing I want to do, guys, before I'm headed off, is to create the final warp object. Let's duplicate this one. Call this obj warp to map. And I want to put that right here. And on that, I want you to variables, edit, and I want to just kind of, can I move that window? Oh, game maker. This is why I hate this shitty interface. Like, I want to move that over here so I can see it. Wherever that is. So that's 448 by 224. 224. And I want to subtract 16 from that. So I can't do that in my head because it's late. Actually, I can't do that in my head anytime. That was just an excuse. 208. Done. And then last thing I want to do is in this one, edit the variables to say that you are 216. I want you to be a tile higher. Lucas, I'm from Australia. Australia, mate. From Australia. George is Skynet. Yeah, man. George has got like next level AI. Totally AIing. Alright, so back to this create event. So now George is the shopkeeper. George is going to work until 3 p.m. because he's a lazy prick. Let's make it 3:10 p.m. Then after that, George is going to navigate back to the warp to map. Killer Beast, I don't know if the free version is good enough. I've never used it. So at 3:10 p.m., George warps back to the map, and then random navigates to. So after 3, so let's say at another event, this is going to be at say 3:30 p.m. George random navigates for the rest of the evening between the 2 waypoints destination. Okay, so the loop is essentially as follows. At 8:30 a.m., get rid of these speech ones, George navigates to the shop, the teleport that takes him to the shop. Then at 9:10, he becomes the shopkeeper. At 3:10 p.m., George goes back to the map, and then from 3:10 p.m. onwards, random navigates between, or selects a random destination on the map and then navigates to that random destination. So let's have a look and see what happens. 8:30. Oh, we have a bug. Alright, that bug, I'm almost certain, is this variable should be 216. 200 minus 16. 184. I needed a calculator for that. Shameful, I know. So, George should go to the shop now. Go up, become the shopkeeper until 3:30 p.m. Then at 3:30 p.m., George will leave the shop and glitch into the house. That's fine. That just means that this variable needs to be 208 minus 16 minus 16. There we go. Now, hopefully this is the final build. Let's see if George enters the loop. Comes the shopkeeper. Okay, I'm messing up the coordinates here. What's going on with these coordinates? Let me take this guy, put that right there. 448, 240. 448, 240. 448, 240. There we go. Alright, let's move that over here. There we are. There's also this little strange glitchy thing going on. I'm wondering if that is a timing thing because of this. The time from 310. Let's set that to like 350. The timings are obviously not right because it will move on to the next event regardless of what the time is. Obviously, we don't want that. See, so there's obviously an issue with that. Let's set that to 430, 450. It's because it's taking too long for it to walk back out of the shop. That's just a timing issue. I think what's happening there is now George is warping and landing on this. So that should be plus 16, so that should be 56. Right, let's have a look and see what that looks like. Sorry for all the variable edit, run again, check. Good enough. Right, now let's see if George will repeat the next day. Yeah, obviously, yeah, so there's still some timing issues there. George really suits when you're describing the problem. Bobby, stop licking. It's weird. Sorry, my dog just came over and started licking like my foot while I was working. I got my headset on. I can't hear anything. It's really creepy. Alright, anyway, that was random. Maybe, can we get a George body pillow? Oh my god. You can get a George body pillow if you like. I'm fine, thank you. Man, that was funny. Anyway, I'm quite happy with where this is at. It's not bug-free. Like you can see, there are some issues where, you know, the timing of events don't quite add up. What we may need to do is create a stack, you know, so at certain times events add to a stack and then they pop off the stack. When the event is completed, it fires a notification which then triggers George to execute the next event. But as far as creating loops of intelligence, I mean, it's not intelligent, but as far as creating loops of intelligence, we have a very basic concept here of something that works quite well for what it needs to do. Imagine a bunch of NPCs with different directives. You know, the directives might be at, you know, like you're playing Stardew Valley, you know, at like 9 AM the shop opens. So what does that mean? That means at 8:30 George gets up and walks to the shop and becomes a shopkeeper. You might have someone who's doing questing, you know, someone who's like out in the forest harvesting wood from the times of like 9:30 to 4:30 on a Wednesday, you know, and all of that is just overriding data. It's just looking at this object as a sequence of events that should be triggered at some time, and then determining when they should appear in sequence. So, for instance, this is just the generic loop. We can call this the default, you know. But on Wednesdays, maybe George doesn't become a shopkeeper between 9:10 and 3:10. Maybe on Wednesday, you know, if the game had a concept of days, on Wednesday at 9:10 AM, George goes fishing. And so, by creating a bunch of rules that support what our characters are actually doing, I think this makes it much more lifelike. It gives you a world where the characters are actually doing stuff. They're accomplishing goals. They're setting out to do something throughout the day. And if you need to find one of them, you might know that on Wednesday George likes to fish at this lake or that lake. You know, you have a bunch of fishing points on the map. For instance, you know, all of these are different fishing points. You know, you just put a bunch of them on the map, like this. You know, you've got like fishing point 1, fishing point 2, fishing point 3. And one of George's directives is to go fishing. At what fishing point? It's a random fishing point. Who knows? And so George, you know, navigates his way out through the forest and off he goes, you know, starts fishing. We throw a couple of these guys on here as well, just so we can see, and I'll turn the camera off so it's not following George. That way George can actually go in the house and disappear, and we don't have to, we don't know about it. You see these guys here following the, which one are these? Those are destinations. That's the wrong object, that's why. I want to throw destination objects on the map here. So these are destinations. I want to enable the viewport as well. I just want the camera to be turned off. Follow none. There we go. Yeah, so you got a bunch of destinations on the map and a couple of NPCs. Well, these guys, see, they will navigate through those things. See, George just went off and went shopping. Yeah, George is doing his business, doing whatever he needs to do, and sometime later, George is back. That is so cool. I think that's awesome. You know, imagine playing a game where the NPCs do things. I really like that. Anyway, I'm very happy with the way that this has turned out. Obviously, these guys are just doing some sort of random thing. George is just hanging around until it's time for him to go off and become a shopkeeper again, and he'll come back after 3:30. And he's back. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's stream. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this video stream, if you're watching this in the future, please head over to Patreon where you can drop $1 in the hat and, you know, help support the channel, keep these streams going. I'm back to work now, so I was on holiday over the last week. I was streaming a lot, making a lot of games. We had a lot of fun. You know, I'd like to do more of that, so if you guys want to see more of this, then, you know, please consider heading over to Patreon. The rewards are listed on the page, but basically, you know, these videos that I upload will go to Patreon first now, and then after a week or two, they come out on YouTube for everyone to see. So, you know, if you want to see them early, that's what I can offer. I didn't want to put anything behind a paywall. I don't want to put stuff, you know, behind Patreon and make it like you can't see this content until you pay money for it. So that's why I put things out like, you know, they always become free, because, you know, everyone should be able to learn and have fun and, you know, do this. So that's why I didn't want to put anything, you know, really behind it, but I tried my best anyway. George is Lewis's waifu. Oh my god, we love you, George. I think George is a legend. George is intelligent. Look at these other idiots just running around the screen aimlessly. They've got no intelligence. George is up paying taxes, going to work in the morning. Oh my god. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. It's 11:30 p.m. here on a Friday night. I am off to bed. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye for now.